Mr. Jordan.
I think the chairman, it seems to me, Chief Scott, the fundamental question that people are asking is why? Why is this happening now at this scale? It's certainly the question Ms. Nobles has about what happened to her daughter, Kayla. It's a question the supervisor, it's the question the American people have. Why is this happening at this scale? Is it because, well, let me, you give me an answer, Chief, what you think the why is.
The short answer is catch and release. As long as people know they're going to be released into the United States, that is the prize. They don't care about all the rest of the immigration process.
And until you change that fundamental incentive that now exists, you will not correct the problem, right?
Correct. Correct.
And this administration decided on day one. I think this is so important for everyone to fully understand. On day one, they decided they were going to stop building the wall, as you just talked about in your question in response to the chairman. They said, we'll stop building the wall. We're going to end remain in Mexico, and we're going to release you once you get here. They made that decision on day one. And that says it all. So people come, they say, you know what, we won't have to wait in Mexico. There's not going to be a wall to get over, and when we get in, we're going to get released wherever we want to go. Who wouldn't come to the greatest country ever? Good people and a lot of bad people, right? And as a result, do you think it seems to me this administration made an intentional decision to put in place policies that have led to everything we've been talking about this morning. Do you agree, Chief?
I agree with that. All the conversations I was part of focused on expediting the release of people into the United States. They were adamantly opposed to detention.
And when you bring in, as the chairman just talked about, 2 million who come here or encountered who were released, another 1.5 million that we know came, but we didn't actually get it, they snuck in somehow, they got in somehow, 3.5 million people, there are gonna be some bad people in there.
Statistically, that is guaranteed.
Drug dealers, gang members, as Ms. Nobles knows about all too well, unfortunately, they're gonna be there. And also terrorists. What's the number up to now? Like we're close to like 100 people who've been on the terrorist watch list who've been counted on our border because of an intentional decision the Biden administration made on January 20th, 2021. Is that accurate, Chief?
I believe that is accurate.
What's the solution?
The solution is to put back in place procedures that make sure that somebody has due process, but they don't get the prize until a judge adjudicates the case. You have to end catch and release, and you can do that through detention, or you can do that through something like the Remain in Mexico program.
We want to let good people come to this country, legitimate asylum seekers, we want to let them in. But you know what our legislation did? It did what you just described. It said, when you come to this country, you will either have to wait in Mexico, or we will detain you while we evaluate your claim. And the Democrats say that's radical. That is common sense. And if we'd have kept that policy, Kayla may be alive today but because we didn't, all kinds of bad things happen. That is what has to happen. Until the country understands that, the Democrats understand that, it is just so basic. You can't just let people come in the country. You have to evaluate their claim. And while you're doing it, they have to be detained or they have to remain in some other country before we let them come to the United States. That's the answer.
That is the answer, and it worked.
Worked before, it'll work again. We just have to have the will to put it back in place so that the bad things we see happening all over the country won't continue.
Correct.
That I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes Mr. Hunt.